Hello everyone, Crypto Channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I gotta start with this. Crypto Fear and Greed Index flips to neutral for the first time since October. So the Fear and Greed Index hit 40. Remember, it was all the way down, I believe, under 10. And I've never even seen it that low before. But I think people are starting to feel better about crypto now because the price started moving upward. Whenever the market's down, people are just upset. Everybody's negative, and that negativity is so contagious on X. One person says, "I'm out of crypto, I'm selling my bag and I'm leaving." And right away, 20 other people chime in. "I'm done with crypto as well. It sucks. I thought I would be rich by now. I'm tired of waiting for crypto to make me rich." But this is the only place where you could come in with a little bit of money and walk away with life-changing money. There's nowhere else you can do that but in the crypto space. And this puts it all into perspective. One bad day is not a bad life. And you see, when the chart is down, that's how people feel. They're so upset. And that's why I always remind you on red days that you don't sell, because the only way you lose money is if you actually sell. Or you just sit back, do nothing, or buy the dip. But everything takes patience in crypto. If you don't have patience, you're not going to make it in this space. You know, there's so many people that are so eager to sell into US dollars. I don't understand the logic behind that. You're going to cash out of crypto, go on a shopping spree, and end up right back here. You better have a game plan. Things are starting to come together for XRP. I'm telling you, if they flip that switch, you better have a damn good game plan in place for all that money. When asked about XRP price, 10th employee at Ripple had 2 words. This is coming from Greg Kidd. Take a listen.
For Ripple to be successful, XRP needs to be liquid so there's not friction getting into it and out of it. That liquidity is in many ways more important than the absolute price, but to those of us that see it being in demand, well, when there's more demand than supply, the prices rise, and that's beneficial to be on that ticket.
He's telling you about liquidity and supply. The world right now needs liquidity more than ever before. That liquidity crisis, it's still looming. You know, Basel III just went live at the beginning of January. And now we're already talking about the supply as well. Everybody, every single day is talking about scarcity for XRP now. We didn't have that in previous cycles. Remember, there was way too much XRP. Now people are wondering if 100 billion is going to be enough. Expert says XRP could soon be out of reach for 99% of people. You know, I see people all the time saying, "I'm too late to XRP." You're not too late yet. Once the price prices you out, that's when you'll be too late. Because I always see people saying, if XRP's at $5, that's just too much for me to pay for one XRP. Other people would tell you, I'll be buying XRP when it's at $500. It depends on the person. It depends on your lifestyle. But one thing I'm going to tell you now is if you still want cheap XRP, you better buy it now, because the price is not going to stay cheap forever. It's going to be utilized to move a lot of value on a daily basis. It cannot be cheap. And even David Schwartz told us that a long time ago. But now even the articles are citing $100 or even $1,000 XRP. And in that video yesterday where I was talking about a set price for XRP, Here's another clip that I forgot to add in to that video. Take a listen to Jim Willie here.
We're going to see a predetermined price that is so high that it's going to blow your hair off, rip your face off. It's so high that it was agreed upon by a group of powerful people and corporations at a level that would function as the global standard in transfer payments as a bridge asset. What are the giant players? Well, there's the IMF, there's the Depository Trust working with Bank of New York Mellon, there's NASDAQ, there's SWIFT, and there's Wall Street and all the big banks. And there's more. There's a lot more. There's more that, I'm not very familiar with, but, it's just background financial structures. Central banks, that's another big piece. They got together. I believe this happened 5 years ago. They got together a long time ago and said, we want to limit the public ownership, so we'll do some frivolous SEC lawsuits. We don't want the public to own much of this. And let's just agree on, initially a $5,000 price. And eventually it'll be maybe $12,000, but we need this thing to work. It's going to be a brick in the transfer system globally for moving money, moving value.
And if the price is set, I think we will finally see that price once the banks come out of the testing phase. But I believe that the price was set a long time ago. You think about it, the banks, if they want to utilize XRP for on-demand liquidity, cross-border payments, moving tokenized assets, and so on, you can't start with a cheap XRP and then hope the price rises over time. No, you just set the price and you say, this is where XRP needs to be for this entire system to function correctly. And I think that is why you don't see talk of XRP coming from BlackRock. You don't see Ripple talking about BlackRock. Every once in a while, Brad might make a one-sentence comment about Larry Fink or BlackRock, but for the most part, ask yourself, why does BlackRock not have a spot XRP ETF yet? They see the inflows, they see the demand for it, they know there's money to be made there, but why did they not file for one? Most likely because BlackRock already knows the plan. Same thing with the ECB. When Christine Lagarde said that Bitcoin is not going to be part of the new financial system, she was pretty much telling you it has zero utility, it's not a great store of value, and it's pretty much useless to the central banks. We already have a chosen cryptocurrency for peer-to-peer payments, cross-border payments, and so on. Crypto regulation talks back this week. U.S. lawmakers are putting crypto back on the agenda as January hearings approach, with a focus on market structure, stablecoins, and the SEC CFTC power split. So they're going to talk about regulations this week once again. How about they stop talking about it and get something in place already? Why do we need to have all these talks week after week, and then all of a sudden nobody agrees when it's time to vote? It makes no sense to me. The only reason I could see them holding back this market structure bill, this crypto bill, the Clarity Act, is because they're just not quite ready yet to let XRP fly. XRP news today. Senate crypto bill puts $3 XRP forecast in play and stay ahead in the market. This market structure bill, it's great, but we really don't need it for XRP. We already got clarity. So this is what their key points are. Senate progress on the market structure bill and strong XRP spot ETF inflows shifts sentiment towards a bullish short to medium term outlook. XRP spot ETFs recorded $1.18 billion in net inflows since the launch, signaling rising institutional demand and a potential decoupling from Bitcoin. That's eventually going to happen. That's a given. And when that happens, we get to see XRP run without Bitcoin. Regulatory momentum in Washington reinforces XRP's bullish bias after delays tied to the U.S. government shutdown weighed on prices. And we're also facing another government shutdown at the end of January as well. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But XRP already got clarity. And if you think $3 is something for XRP, once we get into price discovery, that's it. I think it's just going to continue to push higher and higher. Institutional money, FOMO, retail FOMO, pushing the price higher and higher. And then on the way up, because they want to shake people out. And if they want to shake them out even faster, how you do it is you just let the price continue to rise. Because as we hit different price points, people are going to sell their entire bag. And they're thinking that they're going to buy back in at a cheaper price. And I don't see that cheaper price coming anytime soon. Charles Gasparino mocks XRP holders. How much did Brad Garlinghouse profit off of your idiocy? This guy still isn't getting it. He's always citing the same thing. He calls us a cult of bag holders. But he always says that Ripple is profiting off of us. Yet, at the same time, we're watching Ripple make acquisition after acquisition. We're watching Ripple put more and more rails in place all around the world for XRP to run on. Wait until Charles gets a load of the price of XRP once it goes parabolic. You won't see him doing these posts anymore because he will be silenced by the price of XRP. All these people always love Ethereum. And if it's not Ethereum, it's Bitcoin or Solana. They all hate to talk about XRP. It's because nobody's paying them to talk about XRP. That's the problem. Bitcoin has a massive marketing campaign on the mainstream media news every single day. Michael Saylor's on there getting paid to pump up Bitcoin. Jack Mallers paid to pump up Bitcoin. Then you look at the Solana people. They're on there getting paid as well. But because nobody's paying for that XRP exposure on the mainstream media news, they hate this cryptocurrency. But once it breaks out, they're all going to have to talk about it. Right now, the Bitcoin maxis, they can't stop talking about XRP. They hate it so much, yet every time you turn around, one of them is talking about this might be real. This might be actually happening because it's in your face now. The pieces of the puzzle that people were talking about years ago are coming together perfectly all around the world. This is not just a U.S. event. This is a global event. We are going to see a rise of a new financial system, and we're holding one of the key pieces. But until it happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.